Okay, guys, day 2 of the same foldable, multiplication properties of exponents. We already did this first flap, so we're gonna go ahead, close that up, move on down. Power of a power, okay? We have an easy version and the big boy and girl, more fun version. We're gonna jump into that today. Now, difference. We already talked about when you multiply two exponents, but what happens when you have an exponent raised to another exponent? That's what power of a power is. Now, when you have a power of a power, power to a power, power raised to a power, exponent raised, whatever you want to call it, you multiply your exponents. So when I say that, I mean this. This exponent, a to the m, is also raised to another exponent, n. So what they did is they did m times n to give you your answer. To make things a little more simple, let's say you have this problem. B to the third, and it's also being raised to the fifth. Well, I know that I can multiply my exponents. 3 times 5 is 15, so this will be b to the 15th. And again, guys, sorry, my handwriting's a little atrocious. I got cuts all over my hands again. Actually, let's just jump into this foldable first. So here we go. So here we go. I've got exponents to exponents, power of a power. I'm going to y to the fifth, raised to the second. I'm going to multiply my exponents. 5 times 2, 10. That's it. I'm done. Let's go over one. Well, let's see here. I have x squared raised to the fifth power. 2 times 5, that's also going to give me 10. Okay? But we have this times x to the third that I brought down for now. Okay? Even though it's an old rule here, we're going to simplify this. So I did my power of a power, but now I'm also multiplying my exponents. Different. We're going back to the first rule, if you guys haven't forgotten. And that means if I have an exponent with like bases times each other, I add my exponents. So that means 10 plus 3, x to the 13th. So it's a good problem because it's a combo of my new rule and the previous rule all in one problem. That is called good education. I'll do one more, and you guys are going to try some on your own, all right? This 5 right here is technically to the first power, because remember, anything is always to the power of 1. It's 5 to the first being raised to the third. I can do 1 times 3, 5 to the third. Also, I have x to the fourth raised to the second. Well, again, that's a power to a power, exponent to an exponent. I times 4 times 2, that's 8. Remember, we're multiplying all these together. Y to the seventh, well, there's no power, it's just bring that down, y to the seventh. And then x to the sixth raised again to the third, 6 times 3 is 18. There we go. Now, before I walk away from this problem, I notice that I have two like bases here. I have x to the eighth and x to the 18th. Well, I can go ahead and I can actually add those together because, again, when you're adding like bases, when you're multiplying like bases, you add your powers. Multiplying like bases, I add my powers. So here we go. I got 5 to the third. Actually, you know what? Let's figure out what 5 to the third actually is. 5 to the third, 125. I knew it. I was just showing you guys how to use a calculator. 125. X to the 8, x to 18th. I can add those together because I'm multiplying this. 18 plus 8, well, that's going to give me 26. So x to 26th, and the y to the 7th gets dropped down. There is my final answer. So with that said, I want you guys to go ahead and practice this new rule, okay? If you can't simplify using the old rule as well, go ahead and do so, but go for it now. Okay, check your work. See how you guys did. For this one right down here, I had 4 to a third raised to another third power. So I did 3 times 3, I got 9. So 4 to the 9th power. And because a number, I use my handy dandy calculator. That's what I got. I got 262,144. For this one, I had 2 to the third raised to the second power. Well, 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 to the 6th. Over here, I had 2 to the fourth raised to the third power. 4 times 3, 12, 2 to the 12th. And remember, this right now is now my old rule from the other day, and I can simplify. Instead of power to a power, now I'm multiplying like bases, so I can add my exponents. 16 plus 12 is 18. That's how I got this 2 to the 18th right there. Last one, this 4, nothing was happening to it. It's a loner, I just brought it down. The A's, a to the third raised to the second, power to a power, I multiply. 3 times 2, 6. B to the fourth, also to the fifth, 4 times 5, 20. B to the 20th. There's no more like bases that I'm multiplying here where I can, you know, add my exponents or simplify further. I am now done, guys. That is it. Next flap. It was the same rule we did up here, only it's a little bit of steroids. It's a little more fun. So let's jump right into it. We are now doing the exact same thing, but inside of parentheses, instead of just having one thing, we're now going to have multiple things. When that happens, when you have exponents raised to an exponent and there's multiple things in top, you can actually distribute your exponents. It's still multiplication. It's still the exact same thing we're doing, but now we have to distribute that power to everything inside. For instance, this 3 is to the first power, A is to the second, B is to the fifth, and C is to the first, right? Because there's no power there, it's the 1 there, right? And it's all being raised, all these powers are being raised to another power of 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, let me draw my little oops there. I gotta do 3 times this exponent, 3 times that exponent, 3 times this exponent, and 3 times that exponent. And then I can get my answer. So let's jump right into it. Base 3, 1 times 3, 3. Base A, 2 times 3, 6. For my base B, 5 times 3 is 15. For my base C, 1 times 3, 3. That is my answer. And I can go one step further because I can actually figure out what 3 to the third is by using my handy dandy calculator, or what I do is I just use my brain. 27, A to the 6th, B to the 15th, C to the 3rd. All right, let's do some more problems together. There are 2 here. Again, I'm going to do one. You guys will do the other. Okay? So over here, a couple things going on. I got this 2 to the first, x to the first, y to the first, all being raised to the power of 3. And then I got this x squared also being raised to the power of 3. So I got to multiply this 3 by all these exponents, and then this 3 to just the one exponent, and see what happens. So base 2, 1 times 3, 3. Base x, 1 times 3, 3. Base y, 1 times 3, 3. Now let's get this other stuff down here. Base x, 2 times 3, well, that's going to be 6. There we go. And remember, all these things are just being multiplied next to each other. Sometimes the multiple signs are not written down clearly, but they are. Right? Because 2 things are next to each other means multiplication. And so when I look at this, I say, oh, I got 2 base x's here. And since I'm just multiplying these together, so x to the 3rd times x to the 6th, I'm going to add those exponents back to the first rule we did on this foldable. So we already know 2 to the 3rd. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Or you can use a calculator. 2 to the 3rd is 8. And now my x's. 3 plus 6, that's 9. My y had no other bases y there. We are now done. So I want you guys to try this big boy and girl equation. Have fun. Do it. Okay, guys, let's see how you did. So over here, I had these, both the powers of 1, all being raised to this 4th power. So 4 times this one and 4 times that one. That gave me x to the 4th, y to the 4th. In this parenthesis, I had 4 to the 1st, x to the 5th, y to the 1st, all being raised to this other power of 2, so I can multiply my powers. 2 times 1, 2 times 5, 2 times 1. That gave me 4 squared, x to the 10th, y to the 2nd. Now remember, all these things are being multiplied to each other because that's just how this little, problem's working out. And so I look for like bases. Well, first off, I just put my numbers first. 4 squared, I know 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. That's how the 16 came about. I got like bases of x's, x to the 4th times x to the 10th. When you're multiplying like bases, you add your exponent, so 10 plus 4, 14. And I also had like bases for my y's, right? Y to the 4th times y squared, 2 plus 4, 6. Guys, that is it. Rewatch this video if you have to. Practice makes perfect. That's all I gotta say. You guys have a great, safe, wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe.